Amos, chapter 1. This message was given to Amos, a shepherd from the town of Tekoa in Judah. He received this message in visions 2 years before the earthquake, when Uzziah was king of Judah and Jeroboam II, the son of Jehoash, was king of Israel. This is his report of what he saw and heard. Yahweh's voice roars from his temple on Mount Zion. He thunders from Jerusalem. Suddenly, the lush pastures of the shepherds dry up. All the grass on Mount Carmel withers and dies. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Damascus have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They beat down my people in Gilead as grain is threshed with threshing sledges of iron. So I will send down fire on King Hazael's palace, and the fortresses of King Ben-Hadad will be destroyed. I will break down the gates of Damascus and slaughter its people all the way to the valley of Avon. I will destroy the ruler in Beth-Eden, and the people of Aram will return to Kir as slaves. I, Yahweh, have spoken. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Gaza have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They sent my people into exile, selling them as slaves in Edom. So I will send down fire on the walls of Gaza, and all its fortresses will be destroyed. I will slaughter the people of Ashdod and destroy the king of Ashkelon. Then I will turn to attack Ekron, and the few Philistines still left will be killed. I, the sovereign Yahweh, have spoken. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Tyre have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They broke their treaty of brotherhood with Israel, selling whole villages as slaves to Edom. So I will send down fire on the walls of Tyre, and all its fortresses will be destroyed. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Edom have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They chased down their relatives, the Israelites, with swords. They showed them no mercy and were unrelenting in their anger. So I will send down fire on Taman, and the fortresses of Basra will be destroyed. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Ammon have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. When they attacked Gilead to extend their borders, they committed cruel crimes, ripping open pregnant women with their swords. So I will send down fire on the walls of Rabbah, and all its fortresses will be destroyed. There will be wild shouts during the battle, swirling like a whirlwind in a mighty storm, and their king and his princes will go into exile together. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Chapter 2. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Moab have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They desecrated the tomb of Edom's king and burned his bones to ashes. So I will send down fire on the land of Moab, and all the fortresses in Kerioth will be destroyed. The people will fall in the noise of battle, as the warriors shout and the trumpets blare. And I will destroy their king and slaughter all their princes. I, Yahweh, have spoken. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Judah have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They have rejected the laws of Yahweh, refusing to obey him. They have been led astray by the same lies that deceived their ancestors. So I will send down fire on Judah, and all the fortresses of Jerusalem will be destroyed. This is what Yahweh says: the people of Israel have sinned again and again, and I will not forget it. I will not let them go unpunished any longer. They have perverted justice by selling honest people for silver and poor people for a pair of sandals. They trample helpless people in the dust and deny justice to those who are oppressed. Both father and son sleep with the same woman, corrupting my holy name. At their religious festivals, they lounge around in clothing stolen from their debtors. In the house of their God, they present offerings of wine purchased with stolen money. Yet think of all I did for my people. I destroyed the Amorites before my people arrived in the land. The Amorites were as tall as cedar trees and strong as oaks, but I destroyed their fruit and dug out their roots. It was I who rescued you from Egypt and led you through the desert for 40 years so you could possess the land of the Amorites. I chose some of your sons to be prophets and others to be Nazirites. Can you deny this, my people of Israel? Asks Yahweh. But you caused the Nazarites to sin by making them drink your wine, and you said to my prophets, Shut up, so I will make you groan as a wagon groans when it is loaded down with grain. Your fastest runners will not get away. The strongest among you will become weak. Even the mightiest warriors will be unable to save themselves. The archers will fail to stand their ground. The swiftest soldiers won't be fast enough to escape. Even warriors on horses won't be able to outrun the danger. On that day, the most courageous of your fighting men will drop their weapons and run for their lives. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Chapter 3. Listen to this message that Yahweh has spoken against you, O people of Israel and Judah, the entire family I rescued from Egypt. From among all the families on the earth, I chose you alone. That is why I must punish you for all your sins. Can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction? Does a lion ever roar in a thicket without first finding a victim? Does a young lion growl in its den without first catching its prey? Does a bird ever get caught in a trap that has no bait? Does a trap ever spring shut when there's nothing there to catch? When the war trumpet blares, shouldn't the people be alarmed? When disaster comes to a city, isn't it because Yahweh planned it? But always, first of all, I warn you through my servants the prophets. I, the sovereign Yahweh, have now done this. The lion has roared. Tremble in fear. The sovereign Yahweh has spoken. I dare not refuse to proclaim his message. Announce this to the leaders of Philistia and Egypt. Take your seats now on the hills around Samaria, and witness the scandalous spectacle of all Israel's crimes. My people have forgotten what it means to do right, says Yahweh. Their fortresses are filled with wealth taken by theft and violence. Therefore, says the sovereign Yahweh, an enemy is coming. He will surround them and shatter their defenses. Then he will plunder all their fortresses. This is what Yahweh says. A shepherd who tries to rescue a sheep from a lion's mouth will recover only 2 legs and a piece of ear. So it will be when the Israelites in Samaria are rescued with only a broken chair and a tattered pillow. Now listen to this, and announce it throughout all Israel, says the Master, Yahweh Elohim Almighty. On the very day I punish Israel for its sins, I will destroy the pagan altars at Bethel. The horns of the altar will be cut off and fall to the ground. And I will destroy the beautiful homes of the wealthy, their winter mansions and their summer houses, too, all their palaces filled with ivory. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Chapter 4. Listen to me, you fat cows of Samaria, you women who oppress the poor and crush the needy, and who are always asking your husbands for another drink. The sovereign Yahweh has sworn this by his holiness. The time will come when you will be led away with hooks in your noses. Every last one of you will be dragged away like a fish on a hook. You will leave by going straight through the breaks in the wall. You will be thrown from your fortresses. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Go ahead and offer your sacrifices to the idols at Bethel and Gilgal. Keep on disobeying. Your sins are mounting up. Offer sacrifices each morning and bring your tithes every 3 days. Present your bread made with yeast as an offering of thanksgiving. Then give your extra voluntary offerings so you can brag about it everywhere. This is the kind of thing you Israelites love to do, says the sovereign Yahweh. I brought hunger to every city and famine to every town. But still you wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. I kept the rain from falling when you needed it the most, ruining all your crops. I sent rain on one town but withheld it from another. Rain fell on one field, while another field withered away. People staggered from one town to another for a drink of water, but there was never enough. But still you wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. I struck your farms and vineyards with blight and mildew. Locusts devoured all your fig and olive trees. But still you wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. I sent plagues against you like the plagues I sent against Egypt long ago. I killed your young men in war and slaughtered all your horses. The stench of death filled the air. But still you wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. I destroyed some of your cities as I destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Those of you who survived were like half-burned sticks snatched from a fire. But still you wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. Therefore, I will bring upon you all these further disasters I have announced. Prepare to meet your Elohim as he comes in judgment, you people of Israel. For Yahweh is the one who shaped the mountains, stirs up the winds, and reveals his every thought. He turns the light of dawn into darkness and treads the mountains under his feet. Yahweh Elohim Almighty is his name. Chapter 5. Listen, you people of Israel. Listen to this funeral song I am singing. The virgin Israel has fallen, never to rise again. She lies forsaken on the ground, with none to raise her up. The sovereign Yahweh says, when one of your cities sends 1,000 men to battle, only 100 will return. When a town sends 100, only 10 will come back alive. Now this is what Yahweh says to the family of Israel. Come back to me and live. Don't go to worship the idols of Bethel, Gilgal, or Beersheba. For the people of Gilgal will be dragged off into exile, and the people of Bethel will come to nothing. Come back to Yahweh and live. If you don't, he will roar through Israel like a fire, devouring you completely. Your gods in Bethel certainly won't be able to quench the flames. You wicked people, you twist justice, making it a bitter pill for the poor and oppressed. Righteousness and fair play are meaningless fictions to you. It is Yahweh who created the stars, the Pleiades, and Orion. It is he who turns darkness into morning and day into night. It is he who draws up water from the oceans and pours it down as rain on the land. Yahweh is his name. With blinding speed and power, he destroys the strong, crushing all their defenses. How you hate honest judges. How you despise people who tell the truth. You trample the poor and steal what little they have through taxes and unfair rent. Therefore, you will never live in the beautiful stone houses you are building. You will never drink wine from the lush vineyards you are planting. For I know the vast number of your sins and rebellions. You oppress good people by taking bribes and deprive the poor of justice in the courts. So those who are wise will keep quiet, for it is an evil time. Do what is good and run from evil, that you may live. Then Yahweh Elohim Almighty will truly be your helper, just as you have claimed he is. Hate evil and love what is good. Remodel your courts into true halls of justice. Perhaps even yet Yahweh Elohim Almighty will have mercy on his people who remain. Therefore, this is what the Master, Yahweh Elohim Almighty, says. There will be crying in all the public squares and in every street. Call for the farmers to weep with you, and summon professional mourners to wail and lament. There will be wailing in every vineyard, for I will pass through and destroy them all. I, Yahweh, have spoken. How terrible it will be for you who say, if only the day of Yahweh were here, for then Yahweh would rescue us from all our enemies. But you have no idea what you are wishing for. That day will not bring light and prosperity, but darkness and disaster. In that day you will be like a man who runs from a lion, only to meet a bear. After escaping the bear, he leans his hand against a wall in his house, and is bitten by a snake. Yes, the day of Yahweh will be a dark and hopeless day, without a ray of joy or hope. I hate all your show and pretense, the hypocrisy of your religious festivals and solemn assemblies. I will not accept your burnt offerings and grain offerings. I won't even notice all your choice peace offerings. Away with your hymns of praise. They are only noise to my ears. I will not listen to your music, no matter how lovely it is. Instead, I want to see a mighty flood of justice, a river of righteous living that will never run dry. Was it to me you were bringing sacrifices and offerings during the 40 years in the wilderness, Israel? No, your real interest was in your pagan gods, Saketh your king god and Kaiwan your star god, the images you yourselves made. So I will send you into exile to a land east of Damascus, says Yahweh, whose name is Elohim Almighty. Chapter 6. How terrible it will be for you who lounge in luxury and think you are secure in Jerusalem and Samaria. You are famous and popular in Israel, you to whom the people go for help. Go over to Calneh and see what happened there. Then go to the great city of Hamath and on down to the Philistine city of Gath. You are no better than they were, and look at how they were destroyed. You push away every thought of coming disaster, but your actions only bring the day of judgment closer. How terrible it will be for you who sprawl on ivory beds surrounded with luxury, eating the meat of tender lambs and choice calves. You sing idle songs to the sound of the harp, and you fancy yourselves to be great musicians, as King David was. You drink wine by the bowlful, and you perfume yourselves with exotic fragrances, caring nothing at all that your nation is going to ruin. Therefore, you will be the first to be led away as captives. Suddenly, all your revelry will end. The sovereign Yahweh has sworn by his own name, and this is what he, Yahweh Elohim Almighty, says: I despise the pride and false glory of Israel, and I hate their beautiful homes. I will give this city and everything in it to their enemies. If there are 10 men left in one house, they will all die. And when a close relative, one who is responsible for burning the dead, goes into the house to carry away a dead body, he will ask the last survivor, Is there anyone else with you? And the person will answer, No. Then he will say, Hush, don't even whisper the name of Yahweh. He might hear you. When Yahweh gives the command, homes both great and small will be smashed to pieces. Can horses gallop over rocks? Can oxen be used to plow rocks? Stupid even to ask. But that's how stupid you are when you turn justice into poison and make bitter the sweet fruit of righteousness. And just as stupid is this bragging about your conquest of Lodabar. You boast, Didn't we take Karnaim by our own strength and power? O people of Israel, I am about to bring an enemy nation against you, says Yahweh Elohim Almighty. It will oppress you bitterly throughout your land, from Lebo-Hamath in the north to the Araba Valley in the south. Chapter 7. The sovereign Yahweh showed me a vision. I saw him preparing to send a vast swarm of locusts over the land. This was after the king's share had been harvested from the fields and as the main crop was coming up. In my vision, the locusts ate everything in sight that was green. Then I said, O sovereign Yahweh, please forgive your people. Unless you relent, Israel will not survive, for we are only a small nation. So Yahweh relented and did not fulfill the vision. I won't do it, he said. Then the sovereign Yahweh showed me another vision. I saw him preparing to punish his people with a great fire. The fire had burned up the depths of the sea and was devouring the entire land. Then I said, O sovereign Yahweh, please don't do it. Unless you relent, Israel will not survive, for we are only a small nation. Then Yahweh turned from this plan too. I won't do that either, said the sovereign Yahweh. Then he showed me another vision. I saw Yahweh standing beside a wall that had been built using a plumb line. He was checking it with a plumb line to see if it was straight. And Yahweh said to me, Amos, what do you see? I answered, A plumb line. And Yahweh replied, I will test my people with this plumb line. I will no longer ignore all their sins. The pagan shrines of your ancestors and the temples of Israel will be destroyed, and I will bring the dynasty of King Jeroboam to a sudden end. But when Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, heard what Amos was saying, he rushed a message to King Jeroboam. Amos is hatching a plot against you right here on your very doorstep. What he is saying is intolerable. It will lead to rebellion all across the land. He is saying, Jeroboam will soon be killed and the people of Israel will be sent away into exile. Then Amaziah sent orders to Amos. Get out of here, you seer. Go on back to the land of Judah and do your preaching there. Don't bother us here in Bethel with your prophecies, especially not here where the royal sanctuary is. But Amos replied, I'm not one of your professional prophets. I certainly never trained to be one. I'm just a shepherd, and I take care of fig trees. But Yahweh called me away from my flock and told me, Go and prophesy to my people in Israel. Now then, listen to this message from Yahweh. You say, Don't prophesy against Israel. Stop preaching against my people. But this is what Yahweh says, Because you have refused to listen, your wife will become a prostitute in this city, and your sons and daughters will be killed. Your land will be divided up, and you yourself will die in a foreign land. And the people of Israel will certainly become captives in exile, far from their homeland. Chapter 8. Then the sovereign Yahweh showed me another vision. In it I saw a basket filled with ripe fruit. What do you see, Amos? He asked. I replied, "A basket full of ripe fruit." Then Yahweh said, "This fruit represents my people of Israel, ripe for punishment. I will not delay their punishment again. In that day the riotous sounds of singing in the temple will turn to wailing. Dead bodies will be scattered everywhere. They will be carried out of the city in silence. I, the sovereign Yahweh, have spoken. Listen to this, you who rob the poor and trample the needy. You can't wait for the Sabbath day to be over and the religious festivals to end so you can get back to cheating the helpless. You measure out your grain in false measures and weigh it out on dishonest scales. And you mix the wheat you sell with chaff swept from the floor. Then you enslave poor people for a debt of 1 piece of silver or a pair of sandals. Now Yahweh has sworn this oath by his own name, the pride of Israel. I will never forget the wicked things you have done. The earth will tremble for your deeds, and everyone will mourn. The land will rise up like the Nile River at flood time, toss about, and sink again. At that time, says the sovereign Yahweh, I will make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth while it is still day. I will turn your celebrations into times of mourning, and your songs of joy will be turned to weeping. You will wear funeral clothes and shave your heads as signs of sorrow, as if your only son had died. How very bitter that day will be. The time is surely coming, says the sovereign Yahweh, when I will send a famine on the land, not a famine of bread or water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. People will stagger everywhere from sea to sea, searching for the word of Yahweh, running here and going there, but they will not find it. Beautiful girls and fine young men will grow faint and weary, thirsting for Yahweh's word. And those who worship and swear by the idols of Samaria, Dan and Beersheba will fall down, never to rise again. Chapter 9. Then I saw a vision of Yahweh standing beside the altar. He said, Strike the tops of the temple columns so hard that the foundation will shake. Smash the columns so the roof will crash down on the people below. Then those who survive will be slaughtered in battle. No one will escape, even if they dig down to the place of the dead. I will reach down and pull them up. Even if they climb up into the heavens, I will bring them down. Even if they hide at the very top of Mount Carmel, I will search them out and capture them. Even if they hide at the bottom of the ocean, I will send the great sea serpent after them to bite and destroy them. Even if they are driven into exile, I will command the sword to kill them there. I am determined to bring disaster upon them and not to help them. The Master, Yahweh Almighty, touches the land and it melts, and all its people mourn. The ground rises like the Nile River at flood time, and then it sinks again. The upper stories of Yahweh's home are in the heavens, while its foundation is on the earth. He draws up water from the oceans and pours it down as rain on the land. Yahweh is his name. Do you Israelites think you are more important to me than the Ethiopians? Asks Yahweh. I brought you out of Egypt, but have I not done as much for other nations too? I brought the Philistines from Crete and led the Arameans out of Kir. I, the sovereign Yahweh, am watching this sinful nation of Israel, and I will uproot it and scatter its people across the earth. Yet I have promised that I will never completely destroy the family of Israel, says Yahweh. For I have commanded that Israel be persecuted by the other nations as grain is sifted in a sieve, yet not one true kernel will be lost. But all the sinners will die by the sword, all those who say, Nothing bad will happen to us. In that day I will restore the fallen kingdom of David. It is now like a house in ruins, but I will rebuild its walls and restore its former glory. And Israel will possess what is left of Edom and all the nations I have called to be mine. I, Yahweh, have spoken, and I will do these things. The time will come, says Yahweh, when the grain and grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested. Then the terraced vineyards on the hills of Israel will drip with sweet wine. I will bring my exiled people of Israel back from distant lands, and they will rebuild their ruined cities and live in them again. They will plant vineyards and gardens. They will eat their crops and drink their wine. I will firmly plant them there in the land I have given them, says Yahweh your Elohim. Then they will never be uprooted again.